How about visiting a museum or heritage site, not simply to observe, but to step inside a story? Although XR technologies are increasingly used in cultural spaces, visitors often experience the content in fragmented ways. They move from object to object, from fact to fact, but how often do they truly connect those pieces into a meaningful understanding? This research explores how immersive storytelling within an AR environment can create more meaningful cultural experiences in physical spaces. The study addresses three key questions. Can storytelling improve cultural understanding? Do narrative strategies shape interpretation, and how? How do multimodal AR elements affect engagement and learning? This work builds upon research in XR for learning, immersive storytelling, and digital cultural heritage. Complete narratives play a key role in this approach. Users follow structured stories designed through multimodal experiences that combine visual, auditory, spatial, and tactile stimuli. In this context, they are encouraged to explore, interact, and make choices. So, can these elements deepen immersion and transform cultural interpretation into a more experiential and engaging form of learning? This work was based on two case studies. The first was Open Air Teriad, designed for the Museum Library Stratis Eleftheriadis Teriad in Lesvos, Greece, and the second was G. Gounarot, designed for the Gounaropoulos Museum in Athens, Greece. In both cases, visitors used an AR application to move through the museum spaces while following a linear interactive narrative that communicated cultural content. In case 1, the aim was to create an immersive experience centered on Marc Chagall's illustrations of the literary work Daphnis and Chloe by Langos, which was also the narrative baseline of the application. The experience begins inside the museum and continues outdoors in the olive grove through a series of interactive scenes displayed on the mobile screen. The application includes 11 core narrative scenes enriched by optional micro-narratives that are triggered through interaction. Importantly, the main narrative remains complete and coherent even if visitors choose to skip some of the optional content. In case 2, the aim was to create an immersive experience focused on the painter's reflections and views on the art of painting, inspired by his artwork and personal notes. The experience begins in the museum courtyard with a short introductory narration of the painter's world. The story then develops inside the museum in the painter's workshop. The application contains a sequence of 12 core events connected like links in a chain, while user interactions play a functional role in completing the narrative. For the preliminary evaluation, a qualitative research approach was adopted. 11 participants in case 1 and 13 participants in case 2 were observed while using the AR application respectively during their visit to each museum. After completing their experience, they took part in a semi-structured interview. The findings were thematically analyzed independently by two researchers. They were compared and resulted in shared themes after discussion and consensus. The findings suggest that immersive storytelling improved understanding of museum content by providing coherence, contextual meaning, and clearer interpretation. Narratives, audio, visuals, and interactive elements enhanced attention, curiosity, memory, exploration, and emotional engagement, encouraging participants to reconnect with artworks more personally. Participants described the experience as refreshing and motivating, especially because of the use of augmented reality. Some initial challenges were identified mainly related to technological distractions and the need to adapt to immersive formats. The limitations of the study are the small scale of evaluation making conclusions limited and not generalized, and that the current evaluation reflects participants' first impression and intention. So, future studies could involve a larger number of participants and further research with the same participants over time to investigate the long-term learning impact. In conclusion, immersive multimodal AR storytelling with a linear narrative can support cognitive processes, increase curiosity and attention, and transform museum visits into engaging and meaningful learning experiences. Future research should explore how different digital narratives affect learning, engagement, and interpretation, and how complete storytelling experiences influence immersion and long-term learning in museums. These findings point toward new approaches to digital cultural experience design, where storytelling becomes central to engagement, interpretation, and learning.